Our final two speakers are not only friends, but people who've got some pretty powerful messages and are helping in different states, in different areas, to get rural candidates elected. One of the things we're working hard on in CD9 is changing our messaging, because clearly some of our messaging as Democrats hasn't worked. So would we please welcome Doug Mullins from Your Topics.
Hey everyone, my name is Doug Mullins. I'm the Commissioner of Revenue in Wise County, Virginia. Come on out and let me assess your property. I'm the guy who's following the rah-rah speech with an analysis of rural performances, not a lot of numbers, and an evaluation of what we're doing out in the fields, actually, as we're campaigning. So I want to, very quickly, I want to read through some things, tell you who I am, get out of the way, and let my buddy John Peace, who is a more eloquent speaker, stand here at the lake turn. I appreciate you allowing me about 5 minutes of your time. My mission today is to briefly discuss how I have somehow won 9 elections in Wise County over the years as a Den, because I'm here to tell you that's a deep, tall red wall out there where I live now, right? And you all know, some of you may know exactly what I'm talking about, some of you may know a little bit of what I'm talking about. But I want you to know right now, for every candidate here, 100%, I admire you, I respect you, I know what it's like to be out in the evenings driving a stake in the ground, putting up a sign, wondering what in the am I doing right now, right? And so I'm with you 100%. I'm here to say a few things, and I'm here to tell you truth from the heart. I'm not here to offend, I'm not here to act like a know-it-all. I'm not here to brag, don't like braggers. But I'm just here to tell you my experience and how we've been able to hold on out there in Wise County. I'm the only constitutional officer in Wise County who's a Dem. And we do have a board member who is a Democrat, but we recruited him over years ago from the Republican Party. So he's a good friend of mine, but the truth is the truth. So somehow we're hanging on. I was first elected, I'll just tell you a little bit about me. I was first elected in 2002 as the Commissioner of Revenue in Wise County in a special election. I had been elected as a Board of Supervisor member 5 years prior. So I did an election and had a re-election, was serving in my 5th year, and the position opened up, and I ran against the chairman of the board. So we had fought each other. He was a Republican. We had fought each other for 5 years, literally, and so we were going head to head with each other in this election. And so election night, the results came in, and I won by 9 points. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, that's a good thing. As a matter of fact, here goes, it's going to sound like I'm bragging, but I'm not, but I'm just telling you the facts. I won 11 out of 12 precincts. Yeah. And so at the end of the day, felt pretty good about that. Now, this was a special election. I was serving out the final year of my predecessor's term. So the next year, I had to gear it back up and run again. And so you need to know that, and some of you already know this, I was worn out. I was absolutely worn out and praying that I wouldn't have opposition. My campaign had spent $40,000 that year for a Commissioner of Revenue race. My campaign manager, Jack Kennedy, who was no stranger to campaigning, a good friend, one of my best friends, ran my campaign. We received donations from the right, from the middle, and from the left. And I say that, and most of that is due to Jack Kennedy's efforts, getting out there and working. At 6 o'clock, in 2003, the next year, I called the registrar's office and I said, hey, do I have any opposition on the day of the deadline? Do I have opposition? So the young lady, the assistant registrar, said, nope, looks like you're clear, Doug. And I thought, yeah, baby, this is the only way to run. 6:59, deadline being 7 o'clock, I called back just to check. Do I have opposition? She said, yep, you do. And I said, no, sir, don't be cute with me. I need to know this. I need to know if she said, yeah, I'm not being cute with you. You have opposition. I said, who is it? She said, same guy. And I said, oh my God, gut shot. I mean, I said a bad word. And I thought, man, I got to pull myself up, get ready to roll, and let's do this thing again. So the next day I'm standing in the hallway at the courthouse, going pretty quick so I can get out of your way, and the chairman of the Republican Party walked directly up to me. I anticipated that he would say something like, we're getting ready to wear your hind end out this time. But he didn't. He walked up and he said, Doug, I want to apologize to you. I said, yes, sir. He said, the gentleman who signed himself up last night did that unilaterally. He does not have our endorsement, and I'm going to fix this. And I said, man, thanks. You know, I really appreciate that. And he did. He called the Board of Elections, told the deal, what had happened. It was ugly stuff, front page news, above the fold kind of stuff. And so I ran unopposed that year. Since 2002, I've been re-elected 7 times as commissioner. Counting the Board of Supervisors, as I said before, I've been elected 9 times in Wise County, and we're real red out there. I mean, just crazy red. And so I guess we must be doing something right. And that's what we want to talk about, is what are we doing? What's happening? What's resonating with the voters? And so I would just tell you this. My buddy John Peace and I, like many of you, were literally sickened in 2024 with the results. Couldn't believe it. Thought, what the freak has happened? I just would have bet that we were going to win it. Whose fault is it? What can be done about it? Things like that. My former life, I was a teacher and a coach. I got challenged by students to run for the Board of Supervisors, and I just kind of did it as an experiment and won, and just about threw up thinking, oh my gosh, what have I done? And then you don't know what's going to happen with life, and then all of a sudden this position becomes available. And so I guess as I kind of move through these notes a little quicker, as an old coach, we got a playbook, and if we're running the same play all the time and we're getting stopped, it doesn't take an old coach. We don't have the reputation as being the most cerebral individuals in the room, but we can figure out we're going to run a different play. We're going to run a different play. And that's what we want to talk to you about. This is about campaigning in rural Virginia. This is about campaigning in rural America. I know we're passionate about our issues, and we should be. I am. I'm the father of 3 daughters. So I hear everyone loud and clear on issues like that. But I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just saying that the state mechanism, the national mechanism, don't know with numbers like 15 and 17% in state and national elections in rural Virginia if they got it figured out. So maybe we should reframe our message. Maybe we should rethink our approach when we're out in the field shaking hands. Maybe we should talk about the issue that I know that is most important to the voter I'm talking with, and that's the issue that's most important to him or her at the time. We can talk about our issues a little bit later on. Let's see what they're thinking. Let's talk about things like common decency and goodness, and I know you do that, but I'm just saying let's prioritize some of those things. And if I can't tell what the voter has on their mind, I always default to basically two areas. One is, I'm going to tell them who I am. I'm just going to tell them who I am, who my family is, where I come from. My mom and dad, Democrats. My maternal, paternal parents, Democrats. If I'm talking to a Democratic person. If I'm not, like the senior lady who told me when I walked across the lawn to ask her for a vote, she said, "Stop right there, young man." And I said, "Yes, ma'am." She said, "Republican or Democrat?" And I said, "Well, ma'am, I like to think," she said, "that's an easy question. Republican or Democrat?" I said, "I'm a Democrat, and ain't no need in you coming any closer." And then started laughing as I started walking away. Ended up getting a sign in that yard after I talked to her for a little while. Those are the kinds of things I'm talking about. So, as I close here, maybe we need to consider running some plays out of the old playbook. Maybe we need to consider reframing some of the things that we've done. Let's give ourselves better chances to win. You know, let's maybe rethink about saying things like you're voting against your own interests. Yeah, maybe they are. That's not how we win people back when we're out on the campaign trails. I'm talking to candidates now. We gotta somehow figure out how to connect out there in the field. We're taking 17% out with us. So we better be creative, innovative, loving and caring and hugging some people, right? So, if you will, John Peace and I would love to talk to any of you about some of the things that we're doing. And let's start putting Democrats who are talking reasonable and sensible along with their passionate ideas back into office. Thank you so very much.